So it's time. 24 hours, another combat patrol box, but this time I have support. Sergei from MiniQuest 64 is helping me, or more or less
I'm making my own box.
Keeping me company. He's going to build up the combat patrol box from the Zenithal 26 miniatures. I'm going to build up the combat patrol from the Eldari. Yeah, let's see if that's possible in 24 hours. So Sergei is going to build one model at a time and gluing it together, and I'm going to do mass assembly, but let's see what's faster.
This video isn't just about competing against each other, it's about pushing ourselves. Putting together a whole army, even though if it's just a small one, is a big job. It's not just about assembling the army, but also to base and to paint it. We've set a time limit to stay focused and highlight what's important, getting the army ready to play on the tabletop.
We are nearly 1 hour in, and I have to say I'm way slower than last time. So I have all the main bodies. You have one tank, I have all the main bodies of the foot soldiers. So that's nearly 10. But only the bodies and the head and 2 arms. So let's calculate. We have 8 more hours. That means I think I'm safe. You have way more miniatures, so you have 26. And 1 hour, but we have the big tank. So the big tank is nearly
half
done.
a tank.
Half a tank after 1 hour.
And 25 more miniatures.
25 more, okay.
It's going to be a challenge.
Yeah. Maybe until lunch I can have the foot soldiers done. That would be...
I don't think you should get lunch.
No, we have no time, 24 hours, no lunch, no sleep.
Okay, so you just heard 8 hours, but this challenge said 24 hours, so what's going on here? Well, for both of us, painting armies isn't new, so we'll apply some learnings from previous projects like this. Staying awake for a full day can seriously strain on your mental focus, affect quality, and most importantly, take away from all the fun. This shouldn't feel like a chore, so we'll do things like this. We'll split the 24 hours into 3 8-hour segments. This way we'll have 3 targets to aim for, ensuring we complete each step effectively. In the first 8 hours, our target is to assemble the army. Fortunately, Sergei is keeping me company for that phase. During the second segment, I'll apply base coats and decals. And in the final 8 hours, my goal is to paint, paint and paint.
Okay, so we are in 1 hour and 50 minutes nearly, and I have all the main bodies done from the soldiers, from the Elder box, and you have done 1 tank.
1 rhino.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
That's also okay. I have the lion's share of the bodies done. Let's see how far we come until lunch.
My last 24-hour challenge was both enjoyable and stressful. However, compared to this new challenge, I've already learned a valuable lesson. Tackling these challenges with a friend is the way to go. Having a friend around to talk and keep company makes a hobby marathon like this so much more fun.
It's 2 hours and 40 minutes in. We are going to go for lunch. Sergei is visiting me in Hamburg, so we're going for burgers, obviously. My miniatures, I have 10, the soldiers pretty much done. Heads need to, some sword arms are missing, heads need to be glued on, but otherwise I think nearly half of the box is complete. What's your status? 1 tank?
1 rhino.
1 paint engine?
And 1 repenter. Or 2.
2 sisters.
Looks like you're winning.
Okay, lunch break is finished and now it's time for the final push to complete these minis. I began by working on the bases for the infantry. To speed things up on this project, I've opted for base toppers, which are essentially 3D printed miniature scenes that simply need to be attached to the base. The Wraith Lord and the Farseer of the box already come with a pre-sculpted plastic base, so I only need these toppers for the foot soldiers. This decision saved me a significant amount of time. However, I have to admit that gluing the minis to the resin bases was a rather tedious task. Meanwhile, Sergei was on fire producing Zororitas at an impressive rate. He even managed to find some time to drill in the gun barrels. Those nuns with guns might just reduce my Elder to ashes in our first game of Warhammer 40k. But let's wait and see.
5 hours in, I can proudly say I completely assembled the infantry models and 1 Farseer. What's your status? Where are you?
I'm just missing the Battle Sister squad.
Okay.
The last one. Everything else is done.
Oh wow! So you are
Almost done.
6, 7, okay, 10 more. Okay, that's achievable in 3 hours. That's pretty cool. I still have to do all the bikes and the big Wraith Lord. Okay, so I think I'm going to do the Wraith Lord at the very end, so 6 more bikes. Okay.
Let's pick up the pace and see if I can keep up. It's a bit challenging with the elder models as they have numerous small parts that take quite some time to clean up. I believe that's what slowed me down overall. Many miniatures from Sergei's box are monopost models, which make dealing with mode lines a little bit easier. Needless to say, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, it really helps.
Okay, 6 hours and 30 minutes in and I lost.
And I've won.
You won. The competition is over. I guess your method is way better than mine. I mean, even though you have 26 models, I have only 19 and I think it's the speed bike. They are just too complicated.
Too complicated for you.
Yeah, so I have still 3 more bikes to go. I have to finish the Wraith Lord, the big robot, but I still have 2.5 hours left. Let's see if I can do that. But Sergei has to leave now.
Unfortunately, Sergei had to leave, so I'll be finishing the challenge on my own. It's time to put on a podcast and start assembling bikes. Fast. I can sense the fatigue setting in by now and my concentration is just starting to wane. It's important to note that as the day goes on, productivity tends to decrease.
8 hours and 21 minutes was way more work to assemble all those bikers than I initially thought. I would say I'm completely done with pretty much all the units except the Wraith Lord. Most of the Wraith Lord is assembled. I'm going to magnetize all the weapon options in the next couple of days, but I'm not going to count it into the time I have available for the combat patrol because of reasons. And yeah, otherwise I would say I'm completely exhausted, but happy all is done. Beginning of the second day, I did prime and Zenithal all the miniatures. That took me, believe it or not, 30 minutes, which is really fast compared to doing that with the airbrush on my last hobby marathon. I did prime and Zenithal the miniatures with an airbrush and it took me hours and hours, and this time I used a rattle can. It was super fast. I hope I'm going to take 2.5 hours for all the miniatures, and after that's done, we gloss varnish them, and what's to come will be explained by Toby in the future, while I already start airbrushing the miniatures. Toby, go ahead, explain, and let's get started here.
Alright, thanks Toby from the past. Let me tell you about the color scheme. My aim is to complete the entire army within the 24-hour time frame, so I'll be using the airbrush to apply some base colors. I'll kick off with a cold tone, Vallejo Violet from one side, and a warm tone, which is going to be Vallejo Orange from the other side.
1 hour and 30 minutes in, I'm done with orange. If you look at this miniature, for example, we have the cold shadow in purple from the left and a really warm shine in orange from the right. Theoretically, if we just add some details in a different color, this would be tabletop ready, but this is actually not the direction I want to go. Some people probably will criticize me because I'm going to mess this really nice gradient completely up. Okay, for now, I would say I take a 5-minute break and then I'm going to start with Vallejo Buff. Let's see how that's going to turn out.
I'm fond of this off-white, although using it with an airbrush can be quite tedious. To mitigate any risk of clogging the airbrush, I opted to heavily thin it down and apply multiple coats of this to achieve the desired result.
Okay, so we are 2 hours and 40 minutes in, so each miniature got 3 coats, but that allowed us to have this really nice gradient from the purple shadows, from some warm orange parts which are still bleeding through, and then we have this prominent Vallejo Buff Zenithal from top. So that's really a great starting point for our next phase. 2 or 3 coats of gloss varnish to protect them for this crazy step, which is going to be after we applied the decals then. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy at this point. I aged a lot in the past 2 hours because it's quite tedious to airbrush for such a long time, but I'm really happy with the result.
Applying varnish with the airbrush is super tedious and will take quite some time. Next time I'll definitely invest in rattle can varnish to speed things up further. I'm already far in this project, so you know what? Let's check in with Sergei's progress. It got suspiciously silent the past few days when I asked about some painted Zorrita's pictures. Then I received this update from his wife Janina concerning his hobby desk.
Hi Toby!
Okay, let's have a look. Zorrita's not painted but based, okay. Then we have dwarves, warhammer fantasy, the old world.
It was a deal.
Well, I guess the old world has made its way into his hobby corner. That's precisely where I'll power through and finish this army. When it comes to painting armies, Decals can truly elevate a miniature. They bring out details and create focal points on a model that might only be roughly painted otherwise. If you have the chance to add them to your models, just go for it. My method for applying decals involves adding a touch of water on the surface, then allow it to soak in slightly and carefully apply the decal with a brush. Afterwards, seal it with varnish and voila!
So I'm done after 6 hours and 15 minutes. And I have to say I'm super happy with the results. So I added on most minis little decals on the helmet, on the forehead, and the bikes. I'm really proud of the bikes because they have this little stripe. I gloss varnished over that, and then I added a decal on top of that, and I gloss varnished again. So everything is safe for tomorrow. And yeah, I'm super happy. I mean, it's already tabletop ready, I would say. And tomorrow, follow up for more detail work. Let's see how that's going to work out. I carry over 45 minutes, that's good. So tomorrow, 8 hours and 45 minutes. Let's hope I put that to good use. Okay, welcome to day 3 of the hobby marathon. Meet today's star, which is AK Interactive's Streaking Grime. It's basically an oil wash. And what does that mean? I'm going to cover all these really nice airbrushed, pristine looking Elder in this mud. And we are going to wait 30 minutes, then we are going to clean this up using probably cotton sticks, white spirits and makeup sponges. And then we're going to end up with grungy, grimdark looking Elder. That's one of the reasons why I varnished them, so they are protected from the white spirits. Toby in the future will again fill you in the details how this stuff works and what's the plan here.
As I previously hinted, instead of the usual vibrant and clean Elder color scheme, I'm taking a different route. I aim for a battle-worn and weathered appearance, and this product here will assist us in achieving that effect. It's basically a reductive method, so we apply a wash and then after 30 minutes of drying time, remove most of it with white spirits. The product is oil-based, so this explains why I varnish the models over and over again. So instead of painting highlights on the model, I just clean things up with a sponge and we are done. Especially decals can rip off, so varnish is needed to protect them. After I completed the cleanup step on all the models, it's time to add more dirt. To get this done on all minis before the day is over, I won't use a brush but sponges. I just rip a kitchen sponge for this and dab it in red paint and apply it all over the minis. Once dry, I'll use an even darker color called Rhinox Hide on top of the red. This intensifies the dirty, rusty tone these ancient warriors have collected on their armor. The final step involved painting the bases to create a contrast with the miniatures. For this, I reused the tones already established by the previous steps and used transparent speed paint to fill in the color. If you like this paint scheme, more detailed tutorials can be found on my Patreon, by the way. Okay, so time for the last touches. Painting the base rim, and it's over. And here we have my battle-worn ancient combat patrol all done and ready to fight for another millennia. I'll be sharing more detailed pictures of these minis on our Discord server. If you're curious about Sergei's Zorrita's, he'll also be posting in-progress photos on Discord too. His basing method is completely different from mine, by the way, and they look fantastic. That's all for now, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one, bye bye.